Good morning, YouTube! Welcome to another early morning Sunday show. It's the show where it's so early in the morning, even the roosters are going, "What the hell are you doing, man? Why don't you just sleep a little bit?" What can you do? I like to get things out of the way and get things rolling, so that's what we're doing today. In the background, drowning me out probably, is Drive-By Truckers, Decoration Day, one of those favorite albums of mine and a favorite group, but we'll talk more about them a little bit later. I had the chance to visit last Sunday a new record store. It's been around a bit, but I didn't know about it. It's about 30 miles away in a town called Mount Pleasant, home of Central Michigan University, the Chippewas. Go Chippewas. And so I went to Bee's Music Shop. I got a bigger thing though. Look at that. They gave me a big ass one. Look at that. Bee's Music Shop. It's in Mount Pleasant, but they call it Mount Pleasant there. A really neat record store. Actually, it's been a music store for many, many years. For 20 years, they've sold instruments in that. And 3-4 years ago, they got into vinyl, and they've just been expanding. And the amount of blues and psych is really incredible. From the 60s, early 70s, there was a musician that had to decide, do I keep my drums or to keep the records? He decided to keep the drums. The records are making their way to this place. So very interesting. There's albums up to $700 in there. But I found a number of good things. Good to me, bad to my wife, and brought home. And then this week I was traveling in West Virginia. I went to a couple of my favorite record stores because I wanted to tell them Merry Christmas. Don't go into places and tell Merry Christmas. I wind up coming out with stuff. So, yeah, it was a costly week. Bees also gave me a kazoo. Hey, you don't get kazoos, man. That was pretty cool. He goes, well, we have these for the kids. What? You got a kazoo? Well, I want a kazoo. So I got a kazoo. Okay. 2 episodes ago, I kept using the word fantastic. So last week I said I'm not using that F word anymore. I'm not going to use fantastic. I can use fascinating, but not fantastic. But then I began using incredible. And I started using incredible the whole time. Folks, I listen to this stuff and go, what the hell are you doing? So, I solved the problem. Here we go. I'll pick you up for just a sec here. So what we've done today is I grabbed, where the hell did I put that at? Oh well, can't find it. I grabbed my thesaurus, okay? And look at this. So now we have, these are different words I can use. And it's big and bold so I can see what's going on. Yes, sirree, folks. That's why it's important to always have a thesaurus around. If you don't have a thesaurus, I suggest you ask for one for Christmas. Don't get that online. Don't get that digital stuff. Get the real deal. That's what you want to have. So we're ready to go because this is going to be one blue ribbon broadcast today. I'm telling you. All right, let's talk some music. Went through my pile that I've listened to. There's still more I've listened to, but you're not going to see it all. I got episodes coming up. All right. Charlie Brown Christmas. And I showed this on when I did Beth and B-Side Records contest. And it's a new reissue this year that they reissued. Nice green vinyl. Just watched this the other night with my wife. I believe this came out in 67, 66. I was 6-7 years old when Vince Giraldi, did the soundtrack for this. And as we're watching it last night, we're going, God, really, the cartoons are kind of, really primitive when you look at it now, but it's the music. That Christmas special is about the music, and this is it. And talk about, great memories. I watched the very first one. I've been watching it that long, and I watch it every year. And it reminded me, back at Christmas time with my mom. And my mother, she had every piece of Christmas wrap that was ever given to our family, probably since the 1950s, and it was in this box. And so when it came time to unwrap presents, she would say things like, well, isn't that pretty Christmas wrap? When that was said, that meant do not rip the damn paper off the box. So you had to carefully undo every little piece of tape. And generally it wasn't a lot of tape because you couldn't rip the paper. And then my mother at the end would take everything, fold it nice and neat, and would put it in the Christmas paper box. She never bought any Christmas wrap. No siree. I mean, we had every bit. So the next year, when we're going to wrap the presents that we bought, you have to buy your mom a scented candle. That's just what you did as a kid. And your dad, you had to buy Avon cologne. Those are just the basics of Christmas. You go to the Christmas wrap. There's the wrap. I used the same freaking Christmas wrap, I bet, on my presents for 10 years. I like that wrap, so that's just what I use. But I always said, when I grow up and get on my own, I'm ripping my Christmas paper. And sure as heck, that's what I did. I'm out there, I have my own place, I got that present, rip with the paper, and I threw it away. I did. I wasted that Christmas wrap. I swear my mom probably still saves it. Oh, that's nice Christmas wrap. Never saved that. Oh well. Product of the Depression, folks. Okay, so let's get into things here. The Nude Party. This came out this year. Brian from Shamrock Records had talked about this album earlier in the year. And New West Records had this huge sale, so I picked this up. This is probably one of my favorite albums of this year. In fact, this is a whiz bang album. That's right, it's whiz bang. That's how great it is. It is... Oh, how would you describe it? 60s garage, kind of indie, new psychedelica. You'll be listening to this, and there's songs that sound like the Velvet Underground, and the singer sounds like Lou Reed. And then you'll hear the other songs, and it sounds like Stones era Sticky Fingers. And then you're going to listen to something else, and it has surf guitar. These guys started in 2012 down in North Carolina, and they were college freshmen. In 2014, they met up with Oakley Munson, I believe. He's the drummer of the Black Lips. And he says, man, you guys are pretty darn good. And got them to come up to the Catskills in New York State, where they began playing around. Well, in 2016, they put out an EP, and then 2018, they put this thing out. I just couldn't recommend an album enough. This was really amazing music. It was superb. So, the Nude Party, one of my favorites. This thing's just, it's already had a few spins. I got a lot of new stuff to spin, but I'll keep spinning this thing. Really liked it. If you like that garage rock sound. This isn't anything new, anything different, but I'll just show it because I bought it, and that's what you do. It bought on Record Store Day. Yeah, still showing Record Store Day stuff. Haven't listened to it, you don't get to see it. The Talking Heads, the Remain in Light, came on nice red vinyl. 1,000 people have shown it to you already. Make it 1,001, thank you very much. It's nice, it came in its own sleeve. It has the lyrics on there. When this album came out, I believe it was 1980, there it came out, 1980. It was the fourth Talking Heads album. And every time the Heads put out an album, they changed it. They kept changing their sound. And when this one came out, I was like, what are you guys doing, man? And I didn't like it at first. And then listen again. It's probably now my favorite Talking Heads album. You can really hear the Eno influence in here, the African rhythms coming in. Just one of those wonderful albums. I think everybody knows about it. All right, I talked to you about the Drive-By Truckers. I showed your thing. Picked up a few Drive-By Trucker albums. And here's the first one. Why don't we go in order? Let's go in the order that they came, okay? So this one here is the Dirty South. So first, a little information about the Drive-By Truckers. Some people love them, some people don't. The vocals are a little different. These guys started actually in Athens, Georgia. It's an Athens, Georgia band. But the two main singers, Patterson Hood and Mike Cooley, they came out of Alabama. So when you listen to a lot of the songwriting, it kind of has more of an Alabama type songs than that on there. But you know, they are definitely a South band. And it's kind of alternative country southern rock band. It's stories, and these guys weave wonderful stories. And if that's your kind of thing, you know, when they first started, they called themselves Anderson House Cat was the first name they came up with. Then they switched to Virgil Cane, and after that it was Horse Pussy. Who comes up with that one? Hey, name of the band. Come on, change. Got it. Horse Pussy. Ah, wow. I guess they have one. I just, you know, those are things you never think about. But they came out in 1998. They had their first album. They formed in '96. In '98 they came out with Gangsta Billy, and then they've just been making music ever since. So this one, The Dirty South, this one came out in 2004. And it is a concept album. It's on black vinyl. Concept album about that. You know, there's songs in here about Sam Phillips, Sun Records. They do a 3-song suite about Sheriff Buford Pusser. That's right, Sheriff Buford Pusser. Now, he was from the South. He was a wrestler, but he became a sheriff in 1964, and he was sheriff till 1970. And then, you know, there was a statute of limitation. He had to quit being a sheriff. So, Buford, why don't we name our kids Buford anymore? It kind of has a cool sound to it. Somebody give that a try. Buford was known for, he was like a one-man show going on there, and he really worked on cleaning up moonshining, prostitution, gambling. After he had to retire in 1970, some people tried to put a hit on him, and he was in his car and they were shooting at him. They thought they killed him. They killed his wife, but he did survive. But they do a 3-song suite about Sheriff Buford Pusser. Interesting stuff. The other Drive-By Trucker album I bought, trying to keep all these albums from falling down, was Brighter Than Creation's Dark. And this was a album from 2008. Always interesting artwork. I like these guys with their artwork and things that they do. This is it's not a concept album. It's a lot more swampy, shall we say. Swampy, a little more countrified on there. Still, it's great music that's coming out on here. Is it a classic of theirs? No, but I didn't have it, and I just really like these guys because of the songs they weave and what they talk about. So, Drive-By Truckers. If you haven't checked them out, it's worth looking. If you don't like country rock, don't touch them. If you're a fan of Sheriff Buford Pusser, I recommend it. All right, Vanilla Fudge. Haven't ever owned a Vanilla Fudge album, and there it was. In my where I live, there's an antique mall, and there's a place called Barry's Records and Tapes there. And Barry's a very nice guy. I've met him on the actual label, and so he has a booth in there. And so once in a while, I try to get in and look. This is the original first pressing from '68. So, Vanilla Fudge was only around 2 years, from '67 to '69. And in that time, in 2 years, they made 5 albums. Isn't that incredible what they used to do back in the '60s and early '70s? It's like Slave Drive. Whack, whack, another album, another album. And these guys, they were really known for their extended rock arrangements. So they would take a popular song and they would just extend it. And some people say they were kind of a link between psychedelic and hard rock on there. They were really influenced by the organ playing of the Rascals. There was the lead singer was Mark Steen, I believe. Mark Stein. And then the guitarist was Tim Bogart. And they kind of got things going together. And when they first started, the name of the band was called the Electric Pigeons. Yep, the Electric Pigeons. Well, I guess that wasn't cool enough, so they decided, let's just call ourselves the Pigeons. Wow. I mean, I don't think they were on drugs even, because you'd come up with something a lot better than that. The Pigeons. Well, Atlantic liked what they heard. Ahmet Eden heard them, so so they wanted to sign him, but they said, you know what? If you guys are going to record for us, you cannot call yourself the Pigeons. There is no way in hell you're going to be called the Pigeons. So they had to come up with a new name. So rumor has it, the tale has it, is they were in a bar in New York. They were playing a set down some club. And I guess they were done, and they were talking with one of the workers there, one of the waitresses or bartenders. Her name was Dee Dee. And however the conversation went, she says, my grandfather used to call me Vanilla Fudge. And I think that would be a great name for you guys. You guys are really kind of sweet, too. Sounds like a groupie, doesn't it? I don't know. She probably went with them. But so because Dee Dee's grandfather called her Vanilla Fudge, we have the group Vanilla Fudge. This one had, on here, it has their big hit. Hey, Steve, can't find the big hit. Well, they play, it is on, You Keep Me Hanging On. That's it, You Keep Me Hanging On was their one. But, they do Eleanor Rigby, People Get Ready, Ticket to Ride. And you Bang Bang. Nancy Sinatra did the best Bang Bang. I did not like these guys' Bang Bang. It was like slow syrup, like molasses coming out. Fun album. Enjoyed it. Glad I bought it. All right. Cannonball Adderley. Yes, I changed things up this week. I also put jazz at the end. I moved jazz up. So for those that like jazz, if you scroll to the very end to see what I had, you're really going to be disappointed. So this is from Record Store Day. I've got our Cannonball Adderley tribute behind me. It came on black vinyl. This is from some excerpts from Live at the Penthouse 66 to 67. That's in Seattle. The company that made this, Reel to Reel, it's a new company. And their purpose really was to find live music and live albums. And there was these tapes from Cannonball playing at the Penthouse, back in the 60s, but they hadn't been released. They were looking at releasing them at one time, a different company, but they go, man, we got some other live albums out there. We just don't want to inundate the market with it, so they didn't. Well, this place got started, and they released these. And, it's a wonderful, band on here. Of course, Cannonball and his brother Nate is on here playing, and just great music. It's not monumental. I won't use that one. It is a terrific album. If you like Cannonball Adderley, I like bebop. I really do enjoy it, and this has just really beautiful bebop, good swing to it. So it was a great Record Store Day pickup. This is one of the main albums I wanted to pick up on Record Store Day, and I was able to get. Another one, and this came from Bill at the Vinyl Verse. He sent me this. The Great Kai and J.J. Johnson. This is from 1960. These two were regarded as some of the very best trombonists ever. And in fact, in I believe 54 to 56, they had a band in which they played together. Then they broke up, and in 1960 they came back together. They put this album. So Kai Winding, he was born in 1922 in Denmark, and in 1934 he came over to the U.S. They immigrated over here, and he began playing. And in the 1940s, he got into, started making a name for himself in a big band, the Stan Kinston's Orchestra, I believe, and that was in the 40s. And J.J. Johnson was born in Indianapolis. J.J. Johnson, I guess they really like J's. His father's probably Joe. Joe and Josephine Johnson named their son J.J. Johnson. It makes things a lot simpler, you just, J. Johnson, go to anybody. But I digress. He was 1924, and in the 40s he also began making a name for himself with big bands, and he played on Miles Davis' Birth of Cool. So again, they got together. These guys were just incredible trombonists. So this came out in 1960, but what's neat is this is a mono, and it's the very first Impulse record. So isn't that, just the historical significance of this just is enough to get me all excited there. And beautiful Impulse. So, wow, it was... The trombones don't take over. These guys can really play together well. They harmonize, but they also sound like one. But all the other music is just as good on here. So you have Paul Chambers, Bill Evans, Tony Williams. They're all on this thing. So there's some quality musicians. So absolutely amazing album. This is a 5-star album. 5-star. I like that. All right, another one of the record store picks that I really wanted to get was Breaking It Up, Breaking It Down. The Muddy Waters, Johnny Winter, and James Cotton. I know this has been shown out there already a lot. Orange vinyl, which is really neat. And they had a poster in here. The poster is the same as that, so I won't open that up. Muddy Waters had been on hard times. The blues whole revival died down. Johnny Winters came and produced his Hard Time, and suddenly people, hey, Muddy Waters, wow, he's pretty great. So after that, these guys, they just went on tour together. James Cotton came with them, and they all take turns doing the solos and, playing. Really tight bands. They sound great together. In fact, they sound stupendous together. Again, wonderful listen. Very happy I bought this. It's a great blues album. It's good to hear Muddy. He sounds just amazing on that record. And Johnny Winter, I always love him, and he's in his prime. Really good stuff. All right, almost done. Where are we at? 22 minutes. The Flatlanders. This is the Odessa tapes. All right, the Flatlanders formed in 1972. Jimmy Dale Gilmore, Joe Ely, and Butch Hancock. This is off New West Records. They were together for 1 year, and nothing ever happened. Then they put out one album, and it was called The Flatlanders. And then they disappeared. And these guys are from Lubbock, Texas. This is pretty deep country, okay? Country with a little Texas sound to it. This is a highly regarded album. It's just considered one of those important albums of all times. But that was it, and they disappeared. Well, they all began having really good solo careers, and each of them took off in their own way. So in 1990, they got back together and began producing music. They produced music in the 90s and into the aughts. What caught my attention on here is somebody plays the saw. One of the big saws. They play the saw, and the saw's on a number of albums. How can you not like something that plays the saw? I've never heard it used that much as an instrument. I remember my dad had saws. I'd go out there and try to make music out of it. I don't know what it's doing. It's just, hey, that sounds cool to do. But they play the saw, and you can hear it. The Odessa tapes, this is stuff that was unreleased from the 1972 sessions. And I do have some of their other stuff on CD from the 90s and the aughts. Again, a really deep country group. Important music. Very important music. And they play the saw. All right, pick this up. Dwight Sings Buck. So Dwight Yoakam album, playing Buck Owens. Dwight Yoakam was heavily influenced by Buck Owens and the whole Bakersfield sound. And Buck Owens wasn't making any music in the 80s. He just nobody wants to listen to me anymore. And someone says, hey man, there's someone in California down the south part, he's playing your music. And Yoakam had tried to make it in Nashville, it didn't work out, so he went to California and was part of the Blasters, the whole punk scene, but he was a country guy. So Owens went down there, met him, and Dwight and Buck, did Streets of Bakerfield together and some other music. Well, this is just a nice album that came out, and it came out in 2007, where Dwight Yoakam pays homage to Buck Owens. And I'm a big Buck Owens fan. I really like him. Andy, from Andy's Vinyl Den, he big Buck Owens fan too. Really nice stuff. Final album, The Chicken Chokers, Shoot the Radio. And the Chicken Chokers, this comes to you live, not live, it's not a live album. It's from on Rounder Records. Chicken Chokers, they're from Boston. It's basically a bluegrass band out of Boston. And they were, this album's 1987. They had two albums, 87 and then 1990, and then they just kind of disappeared. Just didn't make it too big. Maybe this bluegrass wasn't big in Boston at the time. They really play old-timey music, shall we say, but their influences were reggae, rap, punk, and, some of these songs on here, one of them, where is it at? Shoot Your Radio. Shoot Your Radio. It's a song in honor of Al Tharp for his late-night tale of blasting a wall televisions with a double-barrel shotgun. How cool is that? Or they have this one, Worthy of Estimation. Uncle Dave Macon predicts the advent of rap. So they sing the lyrics, okay everybody, sing along with the Chokers. Worthy of estimation, after long consideration, I have gained the reputation as the best in the nation. That's his rap thing. So, the Chicken Chokers. I bought this because of the name. Chicken Chokers. How could you not buy that? I didn't know what the music was going to be. It just said Chicken Chokers. Speaking of lyrics, I forgot to mention, on the Nude Party, one of their lyrics on there, it goes, what did it say? It said, I don't mind your love, I just need my, it said, I don't need your love, I just need my records. The song's called Records. You can find it on YouTube, all right? They have YouTube videos, but one's called Records. I don't need your love, I just need my records. That's the vinyl community, baby. There we go. All right, that's it. That's all I'm going to show you this week. You don't have to wait for the rest of it. And I got more to go. Found some great stuff this week. Pretty exciting week out there. Actually completed 3 different groups I've been trying to complete the albums on, and is able to do that, so I'm pretty excited about that. Hope everyone's having a great Christmas season. I'm going to go Christmas shopping today, which means I'm opening up my computer, going on to Amazon, and I'm just going to buy some stuff, and I'm going to have it shipped and gift wrapped to them, because I worked retail for 35 years, and I just don't want to go out to a store anymore. It's just exhausting. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to listen to music, shop in my basement. Doesn't get better than that. Everyone, thank you once again for tuning in. There's a number of new subscribers this week. Super cool that you subscribe. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this thing. Please leave comments. You guys really leave a lot of comments. I appreciate that. Correct me on everything I say wrong, which means that's why I get so many comments, because I say so many things wrong. It gives you a lot of stuff you can comment about. Please do. I don't take offense to anything. So thank you very much. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you next week on That Early Morning Sunday Show. Bye, everyone.